Um, yes. So I would just request you to please put your microphones on the mute for the time being. Okay. When I wish you to speak, I will ask you to unmute yourselves and speak. Okay. So just put your microphones on the mute for the time being. Right. Uh, we have already met once in an introductory session with the other mentors. So this is really our second meeting, but it is our first meeting as teacher student, right? Because I am, after all, your subject teachers teaching you, and I think I had mentioned that I happen to teach English over here. So this is your very first day, and we are beginning in the online mode in the midst of this prevailing pandemic. Uh, this is unfortunate. I think all of us will agree about that. This is not a situation that we wish to ever face or to confront. But unfortunately, all of us at this point of time are having to face it, whether we like it or not. As long as we are not able to safely go back to our physical classroom, we are going to continue with the online classes. Now, online classes are rather different from the actual physical classroom with which we are all habituated and accustomed. So today, in the first class, which is an introductory class also, I will try to explain to you various things which we need to keep in mind. But this is not just a lecture session, so I'm sharing with you really. And also, I would also say that you have various problems, difficulties of your own. Please don't hesitate or feel shy to share that with me also. Because the subject that we are studying, that is communicative English, the main purpose or goal of this subject is to build up your communicative competence or to build up your proficiency, to build up your area of strength as far as the use of language teaching is concerned, as far as the use of language for everyday needs and for workplace needs is concerned. I think you
Can you
understand
please
that
turn up
basically.
the volume?
So,
Not audible enough.
uh, okay, I will see. Just a no, my volume is fully turned up. Acha. Is it anything to do with my microphone? Can you hear me better now?
Yeah. Now.
Okay, fine. So, all right, all right. So, I think you all basically understand that this subject is aimed at building up your area of skills, or basically, our aim is skill development in this subject. Okay. So, learning the language is a skill like any other skill. Like, for example, you have various skills. You were talking about them the first day that we met. Some of you are good at writing, some of you are good in drawing, uh, various skills. Okay, some of you are maybe interested in gaming or programming, coding, which is the very much in thing nowadays. So, there are various skills that you're interested in. What is a skill? Basically, it's an ability, isn't it? So, like the other skill areas, language speaking or using the language rather, that is also an ability. We may have that in various degrees. Some may be better, some may be not so good, or some may be less good. But that doesn't mean that the abilities or the skills cannot be suitably developed. They can be developed. This is my point. This is my basic point. And how can they be developed unless we know what is the starting point? So you are at the starting point right now. So what happens in a car race? I think all of you are familiar with that. All the racing cars are lined up on the track at the starting point, isn't it? That is the place from where they are going to begin the race. Some might go on to win, some may not go on to win. So the outcome will be different. But the basic thing is that you have to start somewhere. Everybody starts somewhere or at the same place. So you are at the starting point right now. You are on the first day of your BTech course. You are at the very beginning of your undergraduate course of study, at the very beginning of college, the first day in college. Wow, a great thing to remember. I also happen to remember my first day in college, which was, of course, very different from what yours is going to be like. But I do remember, I have got a memory of that, though it was how many years ago? Many years ago, almost 30 years ago. But I still do have a very vivid memory or recollection of that day. So today is a memorable day in your lives when you cross a sort of dividing line between being a teenager and being a young adult. So you are on the threshold of young adulthood at this point of time. So congratulations. Now, about the subject that we have got to study, certainly I'm going to speak about that. There are also a lot of things to remember about the online classes. Okay, so now let me just try and sum up in a nutshell a few things about this online teaching before we try and look at our subject in greater detail. Okay, right. Now, on studying online has got some advantages also. Now, though we tend to think that it is disadvantageous compared to actual physical classroom teaching and learning. But there are some advantages also. You can be in touch with the teacher all the time. It is a live classroom experience. And uh, the teacher is both visible and audible. And you can also share with the teacher various audiovisual aids and various audiovisual materials like PowerPoints, audios, videos, and others, which are not so easy to share in the actual physical classroom. I think you understand that because unless your physical classroom is something like a smart classroom with a smart board or projector and other aids, I really cannot show videos to you over there. But I can show videos to you over here. So this is an advantage, definitely. Would you say that that's an advantage or not? What would you say? Uh,
Uh,
you can unmute yourselves and speak, any one or two of you if you want. Do you
yes,
think
sir.
that that's
It
an
is
Yes, sir.
an
advantage?
Yes, sir. Yes,
yes,
sir.
sir. It
It
is an
is an advantage.
advantage, but there are certain
Ye-
doubt points as well. As
yes,
the
that
most
that is true. Huh?
the most disadvantageous part is mm,
Yes,
it costs a lot of data. Online class, it costs a lot of data.
yes, yes. I understand that.
It's the most
I understand that.
disadvantageous part.
Yes, yes. These are definitely one of the problematic areas,
Major problem.
especially for a country like India, okay, where the education is not financed by the state. Higher education is not financed by the state, okay, unlike in the Western world, right? Yes, I get your point. It's perfectly correct. But as I was saying, to just complete what I was saying, the roundup. Among the plus points or advantages is that you get to see videos and audios and PowerPoints in the class itself, which is not really possible in the physical classroom unless, as I said, you have a smart classroom or you have audiovisual aids over there. Now, you have a blackboard in the actual classroom. where your teachers do keep writing all the time. Yes. So that is also an advantage, you might say, of the physical classroom, but I do not have any such blackboard over here. However, if I wish to write something, okay, if I wish to write something, I will write in the chat box. Okay, so you can, I think, save my messages from the chat box, or you can, copy and paste from there, or do other things like that. I'm sure you are quite tech savvy as far as these things are concerned. So you can do that. Okay, so if I have anything to write, if I have any point to make, if I have want to explain something, then I will write it down briefly in the chat box. Okay, and you will get it from there. I will also do something else. Uh, though I have already requested you in the instructions that I gave you today morning that you keep a notebook and pen ready with you and take down points or notes from the classes, especially when I'm showing PowerPoints. So I have said that nothing can really replace the actual process of note taking. So which can go on in an online session as well in an actual physical session. Okay, both. So that is there. But uh, also to supplement that, to help you out, I will also be doing something else. Later on in the course of the week, I will be sharing with you also a link of the recording of my classes. Okay, so it might be on a YouTube channel or somewhere. So I will share that link of the recording with you, and you can access that and play that at any point of time. So I think that will be advantageous for you. Okay, so you will have the notes that you make during my classes with you. You will also have the class recording with you as a kind of a supplement. Okay, so I think this will be helpful for you. Now, other things I have already mentioned in the instructions today in the morning, but I will just repeat a few points. Please try to be on time for the classes, because once I started here, just now somebody is joining. Or is it because some people, rejoin because they get logged out? Okay, I'm not able to say. Anyway, I'm giving this person permission. But still, it might happen that you get logged out due to connectivity problems. This is another disadvantage. I also sometimes suffer from connectivity problems, and believe me, it is very embarrassing for a teacher to get logged out in the middle of a class session. Okay, but this has happened several times before, and unfortunately, I think it is still going to happen number of times. Now, in case I get logged out during the class, uh, please bear with me for some time. I will immediately send you a message in the WhatsApp group. Okay, to say that I have facing connectivity problems. So please wait, please hold on. I will come back into the class as soon as my connectivity is restored. Okay, so please hold your patience till that. If you get logged out, you also try to give me the information in the WhatsApp group chat, and then you try to connect back as soon as possible. Okay, so these are connectivity issues with which we all have to bear, and I think we have to put up with them from time to time. Okay, this is something that cannot really be helped. Okay, uh, attendance in the physical classroom is as important as attendance in the online classroom. So I think that and the following of the lectures or the teaching sessions equally goes in both. Okay, so there isn't a great deal of difference as far as that is concerned between the physical classroom and the online classroom. Okay, the other part is how much you follow of what is taught, or whether you have any problems over there. Now, one disadvantage of the online classroom, which many students have already pointed out to me since we started doing these classes in the last semester, is that in the actual classroom, they can raise their hands and they can ask questions. But they feel that they cannot ask questions over here. No, that is not an issue really. Certainly, you are free to ask questions. Please, if you want to ask questions, you can type the question in the chat box. I will get back to you. Okay? I keep reading. I am a very close follower of chat messages in uh, chat boxes of online classes in WhatsApp and everywhere else. Okay, in fact, people get annoyed with me because I follow the messages all the time. They think that I'm not listening to them when they are talking to me because I'm following all that. Okay, so don't think that I will not take a look. I usually take a look very promptly unless I am busy with something else or else I'm in class or I'm offline somewhere. So otherwise, I will always take a look. Okay. So if you have any questions, however small these questions are, don't feel shy. Please feel free to ask them in the chat box. Also, you can unmute yourself and speak, but one at a time, obviously, so that you can give me your question. I will answer to the best of my ability. If there is something that needs to be looked out or referenced, I will look it up and then I will get back to you later on. If I want to communicate something with you, like say syllabus or question papers or tutorials or assignments, I will share these with you in the group mail and also in the WhatsApp message. Okay, so I will share in both places with you so that you can access it. Right? I don't think there is really anything else that I have to say about online classes, except for the fact that please be responsive, please be attentive, and if you have any doubts or queries, feel free to ask. Now, somebody has written over here in the chat box when I was talking about online classes versus physical classes, everybody is not having a smartphone also for an online class. Okay. Yes, this may be an infrastructural problem if they do not have it, but I think most young people nowadays do have a smartphone. So that is really something which they can easily access all the time, and they can use it to access a wide variety of materials on the internet also. Okay, now the first thing that I would like to share with you, let us now start talking about a subject. I've talked enough about physical teaching versus online teaching. I think we have to put up with this online teaching for some time to come till the pandemic is over and we can safely go back to our physical classroom. Let us now take a look at our subject because after all, this is an English class, isn't it? And we have to talk about our subject. And it is our subject which is our first area of attention. Now, the very first thing I would like to share with you, let me share. I'm going to present my screen. Just a minute. I will share the syllabus with you. That is the first thing that I wish to share. Okay. I have shared. Is it visible to you? Can you see it?
No, sir. No, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Some people are saying yes, some people are saying
No,
no.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
No,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
No, sir. No, sir.
yes, sir.
Can you please send us the
Yes,
PDF?
sir.
Yes,
No,
sir.
sir, it's not visible.
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Sir,
Yes,
can you
sir.
please
It is,
send us the
it is.
PDF in the WhatsApp group?
Yes, I will send you the PDF in the WhatsApp group. At the moment, I am displaying it to the best of my ability. If it is visible to you, fine. Even if it is not very clearly visible, don't worry. I will be sharing the PDF with you. But at the
Okay,
moment,
sir.
let me just read out, okay, some of the sections in this syllabus. Uh, there will be 24 lectures altogether, and this is a 2 credit subject. Okay. Now, some course outcomes, etc., are given. Now, there are 4 modules in this syllabus. Can you see? Module 1, 2, 3, it's all given like this, one by one. Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
yes.
Yes,
Yes,
So
sir.
there
sir.
are 4, right.
Yes, sir.
So there are 4 modules
Yes,
over
sir.
here. Yeah, there are 4 modules over here. The first one is communication in a globalized world, or in other words, we are going to be concerned about the definition, process, the different types of communication. What is communication? Okay, and what is the importance of communication in the globalized world? Then we are also going to take a look at different types, that is verbal and non-verbal communication. and barriers to communication and communication at the workplace. Okay. This is the first module, or in other words, it's an introductory module, really, okay, to the paper. The second one, okay, some of you, I think, have still your microphones on. Please put your microphones in the silent mode so that you can hear clearly what I am saying. Otherwise, there will be background noise. Okay, thank you. The second module is one on grammar. Obviously, we have to look at grammar, which is one of the bases of the language. So this is functional grammar that we do over here, or in other words, functional grammar means the kind of grammar that is used in order to equip students or professionals with the functional uses of the language. Or in other words, that you can make use of the language. Okay, so we are not just studying grammar for the sake of academic interest or pedagogical or scholarly use. We are studying it
So what is
so
that
that
4L and 6L thing?
that means the lectures. 4L means lectures. Okay, 4L, 6L, these mean the lectures. Now we are studying in order to give you the requisite skill set so that you can use the language. Okay, so we are going to look at various aspects of grammar like articles, prepositions, verbs, then verb subject agreement or concord, which is a very important area, voice, questions of active and passive voice, modality, modifiers. Then we are going to also look at direct, indirect speech and various common errors in English and how to rectify them. Now, all this is, of course, nothing new to you because you have studied these things in school for several years at a stretch, right? So it's nothing new. But what we are doing is we are doing a kind of a refresher course in grammar, and I might be using a lot of examples from various places, books, or you can say from other places. I'll be using worksheets so that you can get a lot of hands-on practice in using the language, right? The third module that we have is based on vocabulary and reading. Reading is one of the other important skill areas. Now, when we talk about skill areas, I'll be talking about them just after we finish discussing the syllabus. So I will talk about the skill areas over there. At the moment, I'm just saying that reading is one of the important skill areas, and vocabulary is essentially a part of this reading. Now, we will look at how words or English words have come, where they are derived from. We take a bit of a look at some interesting word roots, prefixes and suffixes, that is the basis of word formation in English. Also, we look at various things like antonyms and synonyms, the words having a similar meaning or having different meanings, and things like one word substitution, which help us to express our meanings in a much more concise way. Then we are going to take a look at the whole process of reading, the purposes and skills which are involved over there in reading, and various reading techniques like skimming, scanning, intensive reading, and so on. Then we are going to take a look at reading comprehension, what it is and how it is done. And there are some texts, reading texts also in the syllabus, which we shall be studying both for reading comprehension and for detailed questions. Now, there are some choices among these texts. Yes, the page that I'm displaying, the second page, now has got these texts given over here. We do certain texts in a certain year and some other texts in another different year. This year, as you can see that there are three choices, there are three texts that we have to do. The choices are between the options that are given, this or that, this or that. So there are basically three texts which we have to study, A, B, and C. For A, this year, please note that we are going to do Ruskin Bond's story, The Night Train at Deoning. Okay. Now, many of you may be familiar with this story already, and certainly you will be familiar with Ruskin Bond, who is a well-beloved children's writer and one of our greatest living English language writers in India at the moment. So, Ruskin Bond's The Night Train at Deoling. This is the story that we shall be doing as our A text. This is one of the texts. Okay. The second one that we shall be doing is Roald Dahl's Lamb to the Slaughter. Okay? Lamb to the Slaughter is our second text. Again, many of you may be familiar with this story also, which is a very well-known one, and it is also there in the ISC syllabus, I think. Some of you may very well be familiar with it. The third one that we are going to do is from the Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank. There are three of her letters. The letters of 3rd February 1944, 12th February 1944, and 13th February 1944. So these are the three texts that we shall be doing. Ruskin Bond's The Night Train at Deoley, Roald Dahl's Lamb to the Slaughter, and Anne Frank's Diary of a Young Girl, the three letters of February 3rd, 12th, and 13th, 1944. Okay? We are not going to do the other texts which are mentioned over here in the syllabus. They shall be done again some other year, but not with you people. Okay? Now, if the question is coming into your mind that where are you going to get these texts from unless you have them already with you, again, I will be sharing with you soon copies of these texts. So you will not be at any kind of a loss or problem regarding the availability of the texts. Okay? So I shall be sharing soft copies of these texts and you can access them when I am sharing them with you. The fourth module that we have is one on professional writing. Now this is one of the most lengthy modules in your syllabus. In fact, it is the lengthiest module as far as the course content is concerned. You have the largest number of components in this particular module. We deal with what writing is about, what are the functions of writing, how writing is structured, and then we go into the details, or we explore the details of business writing, the writing of letters, including letters of inquiry, order letters, sales letters, letters of complaint, adjustment, job application letters, memos, notices, circulars, agendas, minutes of meetings. That's a lot. Okay? So you have to know the forms, the formats of all these types of writing, which are very important as far as workplace communication is concerned. And you have to also practice writing them using different kinds of subject matters. Also, we go into emails, which are one of the most important means of communication nowadays. I think you have seen the importance that we have attached to the group mail creation and the sharing of messages over there. In fact, this morning, when I sent out the the information about today's class, I first wrote in the group mail, right? I think you must have seen it over there. And I wrote the mail at length, giving all the instructions and other things over there. And then I shared that in the WhatsApp group. But the mail was the first place that I communicated with you in. Okay. So whenever we want to formally communicate with people, in earlier days, people used to write a letter. We still write letters, but the email is the most readily accessible and used means of official communication, especially in the workplace environment or in the corporate world. So we should be looking at emails and all that they contain and signify. We are also going to take a look at something else, which may not be so interesting as emails. In fact, most people would say that they are a little boring. That is, the writing of reports and proposals. Reports are not interesting things as such to write or even to read. But we have to deal with them because, again, in the corporate world or in the workplace world, you will find that the sending in of reports of various tasks, projects, assignments which have been done is a very important part of professional communication. Okay, so you might say that we have to learn how to send reports and how to write and structure them. The other thing that is there, which is important, is the writing of précis. Again, précis are something you may have written in school. So précis writing is something that you are familiar with. But again, we are going to study that afresh with different kinds of examples. Okay, and essay writing also we are going to look at. This also you may be familiar with. Then some more details about writing, like punctuation, writing for a specific audience, and so on. Now, you may see that there is something written below this in the section, something in bold called areas for student projects. Now, we also have another paper dealing with projects in your syllabus. Okay, you will come to know gradually all the different papers in your syllabus. So other teachers will be sharing with you also. So you will come to know about this project part. In fact, you have to make a choice of two different subjects in which you are doing projects. Now, English is one of the subjects in which you may do a project. Now, what is given over here is only some broad areas which are suggested for these projects. Now, do not worry so much about this over here right now. I will be discussing projects separately because obviously that's a separate paper. So I will be discussing separately projects with you, and those of you who will be choosing, projects in English, I will take separate classes or discussions or tutorials in those subject areas. Okay, so we shall do that discussion over there. Okay, so here right now we do not need to bother about projects as such because projects are not a part of this particular paper, which is a theory paper. Now, below this, you will find that some references are given of important books. You might take a look at these. Particularly, there are two grammar books which are there and on top. That is Raymond Murphy's English Grammar News, third edition, and Thomson and Martinet, the Practical English Grammar. You can definitely take a look at these two books. They're very, very useful. In fact, I will be teaching you and I will be using materials from these two books a lot in my classes. So, okay.
So what about Warren Martin?
Yes, Ren and Martin, obviously, it's a standard book. You can definitely use that.
Okay.
That's a book that all of us are familiar with. So I have not, separately mentioned it as such in the syllabus over here. But definitely, it is something which you can use and you will use all the time. So please feel free to use Ren and Martin as well.
Okay, sir.
Right, right. So this is your syllabus as such. So I will be coming back to the syllabus later on again from time and again, and I will discuss various things with you, and I will also share the syllabus with you so that you need to have the syllabus with you, right? Actually, you need to have both a soft and hard copy of the syllabus for your reference, okay? So that you can mark off the things that you have done over there, what are the problems over there, what sort of queries you have. So the syllabus is a reference point, okay, to which we keep coming back all the time. And you keep it handy with you, save it in your laptop or your phone or wherever it is that you are accessing, and also try to keep a printout or a hard copy with you for your reference. Okay. Now, what I would like to say next is about the course structure and the exams which you do in this paper. Because I think I mentioned that projects are not a part of this paper. This is a theory paper. Now, what is this theory paper business? I think I should make it clear. Now, in this university of yours, that is MACAUT or Maulana Abul Kalam Azad University of Technology, to give it its full name, in this university of yours, there are two kinds of papers that we have. One is the theory paper, the other is the lab paper. Okay. Now, this paper that you are doing with me right now, English as it is called, or it has got a code also, HU101. You will find that in this semester system, all the subjects, whether theory or lab, have got certain subject codes. So you will have to keep these subject codes in mind, because when you give the exams, you will have to mention the code for that subject as well as the name of that paper. Okay. So this subject's name is just English, very simple, easy to remember. And the paper code is HU101. The way HU stands for humanities. But don't think that the name of this subject is humanities. Many students write that by mistake. This is not. This is English. English is only one of the humanities subjects. There are various other humanities subjects. Okay. So to give it its proper name, this is English. It's not humanities as such. Okay. So this is the subject code. And what about the theory paper details? Now there are 70 marks in a theory paper as written exams, okay, and 30 marks for internal assessment, okay. So it's divided into this kind of division, 70-30, okay. So 30 marks for on course assessment, that is now the teaching has started, teaching is going to go on, so there will be various tests, quizzes, exams which you will give, okay. You might do various tutorials, assignments, so they will all be a part of this 30 marks of internal assessment, okay. At the end of the semester, now your semester has just started, this is usually the time when we end the teaching for the first semester, and the exams are supposed to be in December, but I think you will get a heart attack if I say that your exams are in December, because you have just started the teaching, so there's no question of ending the semester in December. It's going to go on for some time, right? So let's see, when we have the final exams, the university is going to tell us that. But whenever we have it, you will have a theory exam, okay, of 70 marks. There is a paper that you write of 70 marks. Um, it's a 3-hour paper. This is what we have when we have a written exam. Now, I don't know, uh, that will all depend upon the situation of the pandemic and various things, like whether the second wave is coming or the third wave or whatnot. I don't know. I should not joke about it, actually. It's a very serious matter. It is not a joking matter. It is a, what should I say? It is life threatening. It is very, very problematic for all of us. Anyway, no, what I'm saying is the situation all over the world is not the same. At the moment, in Europe, for example, they are in the midst of a very pervasive lockdown for the second time, because there is a very difficult situation, as I can understand from what the news reports and what I get from my friends and relatives over there. However, we don't know what the situation will be like when you people come to the end of the teaching for your semester. Okay, so it will depend. If it is fairly normal, you will give a theory exam of 3 hours with a written theory paper. If it is not like that, then you might have to give an online exam. So what I'm saying is that you keep yourselves mentally prepared for both courses of action. You see, we are living through troubled times. Okay, it's not that trouble has not come in the past before. It has come at various points of time. What about the various wars and other, you know, difficulties that even people in our country have faced in the years before? So they have also lived through these difficult times. So we are also living through difficult times at the moment. So you keep yourselves mentally prepared for both eventualities. You might get to write a theory paper. You might also have to do an online exam. So it might be any one of these options depending upon the situation, because I'm sure the university will decide as per the situation. Okay, but at this point of time, the outcome is still unpredictable. This is the thing. I think neither you nor I nor the university officials are able to predict the outcome, say within 3 or 4 months after this. Let us see. Let us hope for the best. Let us hope that we will be able to go back to ordinary circumstances. If we do, then you will have a theory exam of a written exam, okay, like the ones that we are all used to. If it is an online exam, then obviously you will have a mock exam before that. You will have practice. You will have different kinds of questions. Now, I think you will be asked also to join some of the NPTEL courses, okay, which are being popularized by the AICTE and the Ministry of Higher Education. There are various courses over there which are offered, and part of the credits for your uh, you know courses that you will get, some of it you will have to. Uh, okay, Shagnika Bhattacharya is writing. Would you please repeat the names of the books which you said you would follow? Okay, I said that the names are all given in that PDF syllabus which I shared with you. I will, send you a copy of that by mail and WhatsApp also. You will have that. I said that for grammar, I will be following the first two books mentioned over there particularly. That is Raymond Murphy, and the second one was Thomson and Martinet. Both are very good books. All right. To get back to what I was saying, yes, if it is an online exam, then the question pattern is slightly different. But what I'm saying about the NPTEL courses, part of the credit that you get from the different subjects that you do, and the marks that you get over there, part of it in various semesters of your course will be collected from online courses that you do, and these NPTEL courses are all online courses. Okay, so they have a credit-based system over there in those courses. So as many courses as you do, the weightage is there. For a 4 weeks course, there is so many credit points. For 12 weeks course, there's so many credit points. For 8 weeks, there are so many credit points. So you'll be collecting these credit points, and there is a kind of a total, fixed limit of credit that you will have to collect in the 8 semesters of your engineering course. Okay, so you will, get a lot of variety in those NPTEL courses. What I was, actually trying to say is that in those NPTEL courses, which are, already online courses, not because of the pandemic or anything. So in those courses, there are exams to write, which are called proctored exams. Okay, apart from assignments, which are, given at various weeks of the course, there are also these proctored assignments that you do, and you get evaluated on the basis of that. Now, these proctored exams that you write, they are exams that you go to an exam center. Like, for example, in Kolkata, the TCS head office is often an exam center. So you go over there, and the online exam is administered from that exam center. So you log into your system over there at the appointed time. There are invigilators in the hall, and you do the exam, and you finish it on the allotted time, and you go out of the hall. Okay, so your results are later on sent to you, and you get a mark sheet, score evaluation sheet, and everything. So you might have something like that if it is an online exam. So in that online exam, there are multiple choice type questions. There are also sometimes, for some subjects, more detailed questions. So it's not that if you have an online exam, all the questions will necessarily be of the MCQ type. Okay, so I'm telling you so that you can be prepared for all eventualities. Okay, so you may have a written exam of a theory paper, you may have an online exam which is a proctored test, but there you are likely to have MCQ type questions as well as short answer or slightly longer answer type questions. Okay, so please keep yourselves prepared and ready. Okay, as far as the internal evaluation is concerned, we have we have unit tests. There are usually 2 unit tests that you give, and uh, we have an assignment, we have a quiz, and marks are also given for the attendance. Okay, all these together constitute the internal evaluation of 30 marks. Okay, so we will be doing that in the course of the teaching weeks that we are involved in, right? So I think I have explained about the course structure as well. Now, I think I would like to talk a little bit about my subject. Obviously, from the second day, I will be going into greater detail regarding the first module that I have talked about, that is communication. But today, I would just like to begin. Let us begin at the beginning, as I said. That's the most obvious place to begin. That is, why are we studying English at all? Because you are students of an engineering course. Of what use is actually English to you? I think I have mentioned something about its importance in the corporate world or its use in the academic world. Now, but still, let us spell it out in clearer detail so that we are able to understand very clearly the importance from the very beginning before we start studying this subject as a matter of fact. So, I'm putting this question to you you can come up with very short answers. That is, why are we studying English in an engineering course? Short answers you can type in the chat box, or you can unmute yourselves and speak. You tell me, then I will tell you. So Sanket, would you like to say something?
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're clearly audible.
I think, sir, from my perspective, I think there should be a language in which everyone should be able to communicate among themselves. And as per the criteria, as per the condition in this whole world, English is a language in which everybody communicates.
Right.
And that really makes it really malleable in the aspect of languages, so that um, it could be really easy to use for communication among every country and every state and every people of
That's right.
different
That's right.
cultures.
That's right. Thank you, Sanket. Thank you. Yes,
Thank you, sir.
that's correct. Could I have any other people saying Triasha? I can see Triasha. So would you like to say something?
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Uh, um, for um,
Okay, don't feel
actually,
afraid. Yes. Be comfortable. Relax. You are in your
okay,
home
sir.
after all. You are in a class, but you are still in your home. Okay? So this is a
Okay,
paradox,
sir.
isn't it?
Uh, uh, actually, sir, that we can't communicate with whole world and placement companies that
Yes.
for the for our actually
Yes, that's all right. All right.
uh,
All right. Okay. 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 Fine. You can unmute yourself. You can mute yourself. Yes, I get your
thank you.
point. Yeah, that's right. The thing is that yes, not placement companies. Companies who come for placement. Placement is the thing that you are going in for. The companies are not going in for that. Okay. Placement is your job placement. Okay. Let me just read out what people have written in the chat box. Uh, just a minute. Yes. It is a universal language for communication, for the betterment of our communication skills in the time of interview. Because in placement, companies communicate in English. Okay, once again, sorry, it is companies who come for placement. Engineering is all about creating new devices and innovations. So, in order to create something, we need to communicate. English is a language that is globally known. In professional life, we have to communicate with English properly, so that we have to learn to communicate with English. Sorry, we have to speak English fluently in our job sector, as it is easy to communicate with each other. Okay, something about the credit points and questions. Okay, I will deal with the credit points and things later. Learning English will increase our chances to get a job, participate in discussions, and improve your networking skills, educational opportunities. Um, English is a language where we all communicate easily, and people of the world know this language, because English is a language which is known by people from diverse regions, and further it will help us to communicate when we will join a particular company in future. It is an international language. It is mostly used language as a medium of communication in the whole world. Yes, all of you are right. Thank you for posting these responses. Thank you, the others who have spoken. Yes, correct. Basically, how many languages are there all over the world? Can you give the exact number? I cannot.
Infinite. Infinite.
Infinite. Oh no, I'm sure it is not infinite. There is a fixed number, uh, very large number. Okay, but I don't know the answer to that GK question. Okay, how many languages are spoken all over the world? Number of languages is very large. Okay, even in our own country, India, do we know all the languages that are spoken in India? No, I don't. Okay, I'm sure you don't either. So there are more than 26, 27 languages. There's a official number which is given in the Indian Constitution. Okay, and there are some other languages also which might be dialects which are not officially recognized. So they are also there. So the number is pretty large over there also. We don't. How are we going to communicate with others? That's a question. How do you make yourselves understood? How do other people make themselves understood? You need a medium of communication, or what is called in a specific language, there's a term for it, lingua franca. Lingua franca. It's a Latin term. It means the language of communication or the language of converse. Okay. So we need a common medium with which we can communicate or with which we can use. And English is serving this function as a link language. Okay. This is one thing. The other thing is about the placement that you're talking about and the corporate world and global companies and things. The thing is, as far as academics is concerned, or higher academics is concerned, or the workplace is concerned, English is the language which is used for official interaction. So we have to know English in order to communicate with other people in the workplace. Very simple, right? Okay, I think our time for the class today has come to an end. I would request you for attendance to please type all of your names in the chat box. Okay, if you have any queries other than what you have posted, please do feel free to message me later on and I will respond to them. Okay, so did you like or enjoy the first session that you had with me? Was it a good beginning to the
Yes.
Yes, sir, of course.
Okay, unfortunately.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Right.
Yes,
Unfortunately,
sir.
I have
Really
not
enjoyed this
showed
class.
you any. All right. Okay, thank you. Unfortunately, I have not shared any videos and things with you right now.
Me too, sir.
I will share. Yes. So the pleasure was equally mine. We will meet again later. Okay. Please put yourselves on the mute. Yes. Yes.
Okay, sir.
Please do put yourselves on the mute now. Okay, please put yourselves on the mute. Yes, thank you. The pleasure in meeting you was equally mine. Unfortunately, I have not shared with you any interactive materials like videos or quizzes right now. There wasn't time for it, really, because we had to cover many things by way of introduction. I will start with these things from our next session that we have, the next class day. Okay, so you will have more classes and more sessions today. So please stay tuned for the other sessions. Other teachers will be interacting with you. For the time being, from my side, I'm signing off. So have a very nice day and a good beginning to your 4 years of undergraduate studies. Okay.
We are already having it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you.